Welcome back. It's time for another Rave Review. So, there's a revival of a show that when it originally aired, it used to scare me to death when I was a little boy. If I was home alone or watching my brothers, I heard the theme song and the voice of Robert Stack, and I was immediately scared. I had to switch the channel. Yes, I'm talking about Unsolved Mysteries. Well, it's back. It's a new revival. It's on Netflix, and now as an adult, I'm telling you this, I'm not scared, and now it's my mission to help solve these crimes. Here's a look at the Unsolved Mysteries trailer.
My hope is that there is somebody that's out there that knows the truth.
Give us a little help. That's what we're asking for.
I kept saying there is something bigger. I'm gonna find out.
We may have something more sinister going on.
All these years, we never spoke of it.
It just doesn't make sense.
Ça a été un choc. Ce que je ressens, c'est qu'il y a quelque chose de grave qui s'est passé.
I just can't forget about it. I won't forget about it.
I would have never let her go.
I think they were probably taken by people who were desperate.
I have no memory of the lost time.
I saw a lot of lights.
All of a sudden, everything erupted loudly.
I get goosebumps thinking about it.
This case needs to stay open. It should have never closed.
I know something happened to him. I know somebody did something to him.
What were they hoping to accomplish?
I'm here because I think there's hope. I really do. If you know something, please come out.
I love this show. I'm so glad I decided to watch it as an adult because now I wished I would have watched it when I was younger because these are riveting cases that are unsolved. And I just want to show you one quick thing. If you look at this graphic right here, you see the smoke in the background? That's actually paying homage to Robert Stack. That's the silhouette of Robert Stack, who is iconic for hosting the show, and his voice literally gives me chills when I hear him talk on Unsolved Mysteries because it just is... It's eerie. He had such a commanding presence. He passed away in 2003, but they are paying tribute to him in the opening sequence of the show, which I immediately saw, and I was like, I got goosebumps. I loved it. So I want to talk about some of the cases featured in this 6-episode revival. The first one is about Ray Rivera and his wife, Allison. Okay, here's the couple. Ray Rivera and Allison had been married. They moved to, I think, the Baltimore area. Don't quote me on that. I'm losing track of the locations. Anyway, they decide to stay there for a while, and he goes to work for a company for one of his best friends from high school. Okay, here's the thing. That's the best friend. His name is Porter Stansberry. The wife, Allison, goes out of town for a business trip. All of a sudden, she can't get a hold of him that night. She comes back from the business trip. He's nowhere to be found. Missing. Weeks. They find him in a room of the top floor of a parking garage. He had fallen through the top. Porter Stansberry, by the way, he's the one I'm kind of accusing because he won't cooperate with the police. His body has fallen so hard through the roof into this room, they find him with injuries that do not lend itself to falling off a building. Both of his calves were broke. It was a very gruesome scene. They don't know who did it, and yet he left a very cryptic note taped to the back of his computer that makes absolutely no sense. Or does it? We've got to figure out what that note meant. We got to interview the friend Porter Stansberry. He has not cooperated. He doesn't want to talk about it. All I know is if you watch this episode, it makes you think that he had something to do with it. He left the house quickly. He got a call from work on his cell phone. They traced the cell phone. It has to do with work. They cannot find his killer. His poor widowed wife, Allison. It is a heart-wrenching episode to watch. If anybody has any leads, you can go to unsolved.com to make a report. I've already been on that website like 3 times, Kaylee, and I've been checking like...
Making reports?
No, not reports, I don't know, but...
Have you reported me?
I have not, Kaylee. I swear. But the next case I want to talk about is very important because it's from our area, right here in Missouri. It's the story of Lena Chapin and Sandy Klemp. Okay, so Sandy Klemp is right over here. She's the mom in the yellow shirt, and this is Lena, their mother and daughter. let me just kind of talk you through this case. So, Sandy, the mom, has been married multiple times and has 6 daughters. Lena is the second. Now, one of her husbands, she had married a guy named Albert McCullough. She then leaves Albert McCullough to marry Gary McCullough, his brother. And they live in Cassville, Missouri. Hello,
Are
Cassville.
you sure this isn't the cute corner segment?
It's not Cute Corner, Kaylee.
Oh.
No, this is serious crime here. Listen, okay, so she leaves Albert and marries Gary. They're brothers. Well, she has a tendency to get bored with marriages. She allegedly, we think, killed Gary. Lena came home and saw what had happened. So the mom involved Lena. They ended up disposing of the body through fire and then took the ashes and went down the highway spreading them. There's no proof. Years later, Lena couldn't live with the guilt and confessed to Albert, Sandy's other husband previously, and says the mom killed him, shot him in the head, and then burned him. She helped dispose. Well, once the mom found out, she must have threatened Lena, because then Lena recanted the story, and so there was no case because she said, I made it all up. Well, go back years later, 2006, when the family of Gary file a civil wrongful death suit against Sandy and Lena and her new husband. Well, they thought if they subpoena them, Lena would get immunity, and she would then turn on her mom. Well, before they could get her testimony, Lena turns missing. Lena had a small child named Coulter. All of a sudden, Lena's living with her boyfriend. Sandy, the mom, comes and tells the boyfriend that she moved to Florida to be with somebody else and left her child. There is no way Lena would have left her child. I honestly believe Sandy also killed her own daughter to save herself. She took Coulter, the son, is raising him as her own. She's remarried in Mount Vernon, Missouri right now, and she goes by Sandy Wink with her new husband. If anybody has any clues for this, please go to unsolved.com. We've got to get Sandy, bring her to justice. We know she did it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.